Hi guys, so today I have this bundle to share with you that LDRS Creative has brought to HSN. It is something that they will be featuring during the February 13th Big Craft stream. I believe LDRS Creative is slated to go on at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're checking out the stream that day, it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern and ends at 11 p.m. Eastern. So 12 hours of live crafting from several different companies. And so I'm going to check this out for you guys today. I quickly showed you in a previous video, but today we're going to be trying these guys out. So you have the stamp and die sets, again, photopolymer stamps. We have the tulip set that comes with the dies. And the bundle also includes this beautiful orchid set that has the dies with it. So the dies on this one will cut out that beautiful orchid, our little hummingbird, and like this little floral spray. And over here on the tulip set, you have the die for the tulip, for the beautiful butterfly, and for the little floral like leaf branch there, leafy branch, should I say. So these items were sent free of charge from my review, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through those links. So today we're just gonna hop to it. I think we'll use this set. Let me grab some watercolor paper. I feel in the mood for a little watercolor, and by what I mean by that is literally just using water-based markers and a water brush, some watercolor paper, and a card base and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll be right back. So this spring, or going into spring, I've been really into black card bases, so here we go. If you're making your own, this is an A2 size card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I have some of the watercolor paper that LDRS Creative has put out. You can find this on their site, and I'll link it in the description box if you like. It says it's 110-pound cold press smooth, which I really appreciate. I know some watercolor papers are more like, I would say groovy, but they have like more decaling, kind of like a look to them that's just a little different. This one's very smooth, and even smoother on what I would say is the back side. But you can stamp and color, or use either side, whatever it is you like. I'm going to go ahead and set this up. This is A2 size. I'll probably trim it down a little bit because you guys know I like my matte layers. But for right now, let's grab our tulip, and really pretty. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I will say the sets do have sentiments. I'm sorry, I just jumped right to it. So you are absolutely, and then like this big beautiful. So you can pair those strong and beautiful forever. Our friendship is, and then the way you can match those up. And on the other set, you have wonderful, and you have kind, and you make me feel, know that you are, things like that. Seeing you was, wonderful. I think I'm gonna put this little guy over here. Maybe like here, because I'm going to trim this down, so let's just give it some space here. And it has a little sticky, like tacky dispersion layer whenever you're first stamping with a brand new set of photopolymer stamps. I'm going to use a hybrid ink. Generally I use my hybrid ink and I go and do some alcohol ink coloring, but today we're going to do a little water-based coloring, so it should work for both. Again, just let it dry, especially if you're going to use alcohol ink after you've stamped. You definitely want to let that dry. Oh, I can see I didn't ink up that area there, so that won't stamp because there's no ink on it. So let's do that again. Again, with that little kind of tacky dispersion layer, I like to rub, or you can wipe it off. You can try to give it a wash. You can use a little alcohol on a wipe and wipe that off, or pat it on your shirt. People like to do those things to get that little sticky layer off. I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm going to do the stem area on this top of the leaf one more time. So there we go. And I'm just going to clean this up, let this dry. If you want to go ahead and pop your sentiment. I'm not sure where else I'm going to be inking up or anything like that, so I'll just wait for now. Okay guys, I think that's probably ready to go. Just have a couple of, markers here, some pink and some green. So I'm just going to, actually I'll need some blue also, but let's get some green down. And I'll just take a water brush that's more of a medium or fine point. Get the water going, making sure it's just moist. You don't really have to like wet it unless you want to dilute it, but for now I'm just picking up some color on the tip of my brush here. And to make it look like we know what we're doing, we're going to start wherever you think the color should be darkest and then bring it out from there. That way it looks like you're doing some shading. And and it's just looking really nice. And then of course with watercolor you can build on top of the colors, you know, come back at once it's dry and add more, or just leave it nice and delicate, whatever it is that you like. With water markers too, another nice thing is you can take it right to your project. You don't have to put it off to the side. You can kind of bring it in here. I don't know if like under this area for a little bit of shading, and maybe just right back down in here. And even that you can reactivate it and pull it out, you know, if you want to do a little more with that color. Very easy. So I'm just going to go through and just finish up this leaf and just go into the stems. Okay, just super easy. Gonna wipe that off a little bit, get that green ink off. Just turn this to another area. And again, get some pink, or again, you can kind of just put it in here. Basically in the base and like the little crack areas here. Just down there if you want just a little bit darker. So my son last year, I think, for Mother's Day gave me some beautiful pink tulips, but they were like pink into like white. So the pink kind of just went up a little bit and then just, that was it. So I'm going to try to replicate something similar. Just to there. Again, you can reactivate the ink that's on the watercolor paper, because it is watercolor paper, it will respond really nicely. So something like that. Cute. And again, just right up in here. And that's how quickly that can get colored. Really, really pretty. Something like that. Let me smooth that out a little bit more. I think that looks really nice. I was going to say I'll let that completely dry, but we want to come in with a little blue around the edges. You know, whatever. Let me get some light blue like this guy. And I'm just going to put quite a bit of that down. It's a really, really light color. I'm going to come in with a darker, not darker, with a bigger barrel brush and just kind of come in here and just add a little color. It doesn't have to be everywhere, you know, just a little something to help your design pop. So I'm just going to fill in color until I feel like that's pretty good, you know. Not that side. We need this other side. Something like that, just all around. Okay guys, so that's pretty much dry. I wanted to let it dry because I want to do some little splatters with some black ink. I happen to have this little bottle of basically black ink that helps you do that. You can definitely use a re-inker. You can use watercolor, just really, really watered down. Like your brush has to be pretty much saturated with water. And I would say a skinny, longer kind of brush, because you want to whack it against your hand or your finger and it'll just kind of do the splatters for you. With this one, I'm just going to use this really quick. And hopefully, if I can open it, there we go. Sorry, this little other piece didn't want to come off, so I'm just going to leave it. But basically, if you're doing a brush, you're hitting it against your finger. With this one, you're just going to kind of do this kind of thing. And let's get more of that on there. And then I'm going to let these little drips also dry. Okay, I think my card base is nice and dry. What I'm going to do is trim it down just a little bit. You know, I prefer that. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 is what I'll trim it to. And then I was thinking, why don't we shaker this guy? Why not? So what I'm going to do is take the butterfly, and I'll just cut a couple of butterflies out, or a few, and that'll be like a little shaker area, so you can see through it, you know? So maybe like here, I would tape that down and run it through. And then maybe put it again over here. And you know, if you want a third area, you can definitely put another set here, however you like. But for sure, I'm going to start up here and just run it through, and I'll be right back. So I did 2 apertures up there, like I had mentioned doing, and maybe one more here. And let's make them go like that, more turn than the one at the very top. And let's go and put that through. Of course, you want to make life easier for yourself, and most dimensional adhesive is about 1/4 inch wide. So leave yourself that so you can go around here real easily. I'm just going to take a piece of acetate and cover this area. So if it's the whole thing, or at least a piece that'll cover this here, and just glue it and add it on, okay? I'll be right back, guys. Yeah, I just got a little piece there to cover, you know, the whole space. Put some glue, especially around our butterflies, just everywhere, so it just holds down. And I'm just going to wait for that to set up, since, you know, this was watercolor paper, and I used a heat tool, so it does make it want to come up this way. What I'll probably do is go ahead and place that down with something heavy, like this guy, and then something heavy on top of that, even at that, okay? And we'll assemble our card when I come back. Okay, so after a good weight there, this. Gorgeous guy. You know, if you're going to be doing any other stamping, obviously you want to get that done now, because when we bring our card base, we're going to pop this up, and then, you know, you're not going to be able to do that then. I think I'm going to leave the black in the background. You can definitely pop in another color of paper. You don't even have to fill up the whole thing. You can just, you know, put paper that's going to be in this area. Right now I'm going to go ahead and line this with some 3D adhesive. Let me grab a roll and I'll be right back. Actually, I found this a little more handy than a roll right now, so I'm just going to use this adhesive strips, or these adhesive strips that I have. Now, you know, we can take this and line the whole card. You can definitely, like even this little piece I'm going to cut off, I'll still use if I can. What you normally want to do is butt everything up so that there are no spaces. Now, if you're using big sequins, I mean, you can leave some spaces that aren't going to fall out. So it's up to you. I mean, you can even leave a space like that big, because I am using sequins and they will not fall out of something that large. But what I wanted to say is I'll probably go ahead and frame this out, but then also maybe put another piece here, just because if you leave this whole space open, you're going to need to really fill this in with sequins or whatever it is that you like, so that it'll actually show up over here, you know? So I'm going to just line this out, and then I'll be back and show you how I'm just going to kind of close this off so that I can just put sequins in this area. Okay, so I just lined this whole thing out. I probably should have brought this out a little bit closer to the edge, but that's okay. And then we have these pieces. So basically what I was trying to say is I'll just kind of come in here, and it'll help, you know, keep your card up, but also just kind of not have to use all your sequins to fill this in. So I'm just eyeballing this, like maybe I'll go from here kind of towards here, and then look at this. Oh my gosh, is that going to fill like the gap perfectly? It does. There we go. So I'll take the carriers off of this. I'm going to grab some sequins and we'll pop this on top of our card base. Okay, took the carriers off, and some people like to put their sequins in here and then bring their card over here. I find that difficult to see where you're at, so I don't do it that way. You can also put a little anti-static, you know, pad, rub it against here, but I feel like that kind of rubs off over time, so I don't do it at all, even to begin with. So what I'm going to do though is, let me see, yeah, I'm going to put a little piece of tape to help me keep this flat, and just right at the edge. So I guess it was a stroke of luck that I was a little bit further in here, because that way it'll help me keep my card down and I bring this over. Okay, so I just have some sequins, and I'm just going to use these pretty peachy kind of corally colors, and maybe some gold. And I don't put a ton, because we do want it to shake, so I don't put so much that it's just overwhelming, you know. But that is a pretty good size space that we need to accommodate, so I probably put more than I normally would. And I'm kind of keeping it in this area, just because I know once I get over here, that'll trap in there, you know. It'll just be like right in here. So I like to flatten them out, because sometimes if you put them in there and they're stacked up, they don't want to like fall apart or come away from each other. So I definitely eyeball where I'm at, and then once I'm happy with my placement, I'll go ahead and release my hands, get them out from underneath here. That's pretty good. Give it a nice good squish. I'm gonna remove this, and then I always like to turn my cards over and just squish them from the back, like the best. Really, really, really good squish. Okay, here's our card. So pretty. I love that. It's so springy and sweet. I will be right back. Okay guys, I just have a sentiment here that I had stamped and embossed previously. You are more than amazing, and I believe this is from one of the LDRS Creative stacks. So cute. If you don't know what the stacks dies do, it's basically you stamp a whole stamp that's like this big, and then the die that's the stack, it just cuts them all out at once for you. So I have this You Are More Than Amazing, and I think what I'm going to do is matte layer it with a little bit of black to really make it pop. So I'm just going to glue it down on here, and then just take it to my guillotine, trim off this side and trim off that side, and just have this little guy, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so here's our beautiful shaker card. I love all just that simple, you know, watercoloring. I'm just going to pop this little guy like right here. So we have that. There it is. So thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much, LDRS Creative, for sending these items for review. Excuse me. And as I had mentioned, they will be on the HSN February 13th Big Craft Stream. I believe they go on at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'll have that info in the description box. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll have images coming up, links and info in the description box, possibly in this little shopping bag right here. I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.